tonight.
Tool of the week, what a fantastic start. It's great to be back. The gang's all here, and what a day we've had today. What an amazing game of footy we've had to watch today.
Not good, honestly.
Can't listen and draw. A great. I think before we move on, it would be the ideal time to take a look at a few of the highlights from the last quarter, if we could. Here we go. Carazzo's mowed down. Gee, that was a huge in his hand.
Last Saturday I watched my wife go through the pain of childbirth. That was easier than what I just saw there. That was just unbelievable what happened.
He nearly had another baby himself.
It was a perfectly executed drill. Kick it backwards, 50 metres, and then out of bounds on the full.
We'll have a chat about that game in a bit more depth a little later on. But there was another massive performance by Collingwood last night. You can't speak enough about them, can you? You want to see a great footy team play great footy at the moment, you watch Collingwood at the moment, don't you?
All right.
I think you can speak enough about it.
No, you can't.
No, I think you can. And, well, the biggest story relating to Collingwood this week was the musical. There's news that there's going to be a musical about the Collingwood Football Club.
They've got a bit of spare time on their hands at Collingwood, have they?
Yeah,
They can just do a musical.
I'd rather watch a musical about the Manson family, to be honest.
Opening night's going to be in Barwon Prison. Looking forward to that one. Hey,
Don't you know that's one musical that'll never tour? Never leave Melbourne, that one.
it'll be a complete sellout with forged tickets, I imagine. Now, they have started casting, and some interesting casting decisions already. Dane Swan, I believe, is going to be played by Benji Madden. Yes. Daisy Thomas to be played by Nikki Webster. And a stack of people lining up to play Jared Blair. They haven't made the final choice yet, but we're waiting on that one.
Yeah, well, whoever suggests that should apologise. And Jack Riewoldt had to apologise,
Yes.
Brett Maloney, they both apologised this week.
It was the week of the apology in football.
Brett Maloney apologised. He said he let down his family, and they're from Warrnambool, all right? He hadn't let them down, all right? But seriously, the apologies, both of them were very similar.
Yes.
I've let myself down, I've let my teammates down, and most importantly, I feel like I've let my family down.
I've let myself down, let the club down, I've also let my family down.
They used the same script there. That was just ridiculous.
I'd also like to make an apology because I've let myself down. I've let my family down, but more importantly, I've let all the staff at KFC Dandenong down. Promise I'll never do it again.
Sam, the media's kind of enjoyed the public performances and the public nature of these apologies.
I don't know about
What's it
that.
about?
Really?
I reckon they have.
Personally, I haven't enjoyed it at all. I think I don't like when players are put up and they look like sort of pawns in some kind of big PR spin.
Like naughty schoolboys.
It's easy copy for them. I couldn't agree with you more. There's this ritual kind of humiliation that goes on with blokes who are making, and look, these are both in the big scheme of things reasonably minor indiscretions. I mean, Maloney's was probably a bit more serious. Riewoldt didn't embarrass anybody.
No, and I think to refer to it as an obscene gesture is over the top. I mean, it's something that people do. I don't think you need to go over the top. I think Jack Riewoldt almost apologised too hard. Brent Maloney, though, I'm surprised that people think that that was a heavy-handed suspension for him to be taken away as vice-captain. I think he was due to speak to the media at 9:45 on the morning that he was rolling drunk coming out of a nightclub. I mean, he deserves to lose the vice-captaincy. I'm surprised that that was argued by some. But I don't like the aftermath of these sort of mini-crises that we're seeing in football. I don't like it.
Someone who hasn't apologised is Ricky Nixon. He hasn't apologised to anyone.
I haven't seen it yet.
But apparently, well, he is selling his agency's up for sale, apparently, and they've put an ad together, actually, I think it's going to go for a high price.
Closing down! Ricky Nixon's crazy sale! Everything must go! Nick Riewoldt, Nick Del Santo, out they go! Ricky will not be beaten! David Zaharakis, Lee Brown, Lindsay Gilbey, David Hale, out the door! Do you want coaches? We got coaches! Rocket Aid, Brett Radden, all gotta go! No offer will be refused! There's no time to lie down! This crazy deal's won't last!
Mad sale! Fantastic. aren't you, Ricky?
There are a
He
couple
needs
of...
to go back to rehab, I reckon. Unbelievable.
A couple of games of footy played today. We'll focus on the one down in Tasmania. To begin with, Hawthorn took on the West Coast Eagles. And to the surprise of many, West Coast push Hawthorn all the way. Lance Franklin's 6 was the thing that separated the two sides, Sam.
That's right. Well, Hawthorn got a win, Andy, but they didn't really get out of first gear, I've got to say. They were very, very lucky that Lance Franklin was the spearhead that they had on their side. He gave Mitch Brown a pretty tough day at the office. His 6 goals, 3 of them came in the final term. West Coast were 2 points up at the last change. Hawthorn managed to sort of scrape by in their second home, Tassie, but it wasn't the gripping encounter that the tight scoreline would suggest.
It wasn't the gripping encounter we saw at the MCG today. 78,000 plus turned up in beautiful conditions in Melbourne to watch 2 of the great rivals of the AFL take to one another, and this was a tough game to watch, particularly the conclusion.
Yeah, and the nature of draws is that when they occur, we dissect the final moments. We're going to do that right now. Carlton got a point up when Cade Simpson goaled, but then Justin Fletcher almost single-handedly saved Essendon from the loss.
Why do that?
Kick it out of bounds on the full. Kick it out of bounds on the full.
As you can see, they've decided to try to ice the clock. It didn't quite work out the way that Brett Ratton would have liked. The ball ended up in David Zaharakis' hands in the dying seconds. He scored that point that levelled the scores. Now, Brett Ratton was saying it wasn't a loss. It kind of felt like that for Carlton supporters because they were in front and they kind
Essendon were 2 players down as well.
Exactly.
That last quarter should have been advertised in the Comedy Festival break. It was fantastic stuff.
making the result all the more, I guess,
Meritorious.
for the Bombers. Thank you, Andrew Marr,
Thank you, Sam
Encyclopedia. Is the fact that Essendon were actually 2 men down by 10 minutes in. This is an extraordinarily rare occurrence when 2 players go down with an ACL injury within 10 minutes. Now, the first one was Jason Winderlich. His leg seemed to buckle for no apparent reason off the ground. And then Courtney Dempsey. They're both confirmed ACLs.
Really?
It's
Season for
remarkable.
both of them.
Season over. So as James had said, that club, which has started so well this season, has lost 2 of its best runners. It's a really costly thing. Also, late reports that Mark McVeigh might have, apart from my voice, Mark McVeigh might have a broken hand.
Jeez.
No good at all there for the Dons. Well, it was a massive week in the news, and we found some headlines that you might have missed. I believe Mick Malloy has one.
I do. I've got one right here, Limo. This is from the Herald Sun earlier in the week. Yellow wiggle broke after taking family to the footy. It's a tragic story.
Now, people say the Tribunal went easy on Campbell Brown, but they've missed this one in the Australian Tribunal. Says Al-Qaeda has been reckless rather than intentional. Controversial.
Good job. Yuzi, nice to see you back at the desk after having a baby daughter last weekend. This headline in The Age, Hughesy introduces baby daughter to Juddy's unborn son.
Perfect for each other, yeah.
We're going to take a break here on Before the Game. When we come back, coach of the Richmond Footy Club, Damien Hardwick, to join us on the show.